Howdy guys, what's up? It is Vic and you are back on my channel. Thanks for tuning in and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. If you're new to my channel and you want to continue getting updates, that's the best way to do so. And if you're returning, thanks for coming back. Appreciate all of the love and support that you guys give me. Um, and if you would be so kind as to also like this video to let me know that I'm doing a good job, that you're interested in what I'm saying, and that you want to see more of it, go ahead and do that. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get into today's topic. Last Friday, October the 11th, was National Coming Out Day, and I'm going to do a video in regards to that and myself. A little bit late, but work. Also, I caught a cold, if you can't tell. I sound a little nasally right now. Hopefully I won't have to stop in the middle of this to blow my nose or anything crazy, but yeah. So, my coming out story. I don't know if I can really just narrow it down to one story, because I didn't just, like, come out to everyone and, like, that was it. It was honestly kind of a progression and a journey, I guess, is the better way to word it. Um, well, I guess we'll have to go back to the beginning. It started with Tabby. Um, and so, me and my coming out go hand in hand with my religious beliefs and viewpoints, I suppose. So, I grew up very involved in church. From as far back as I can remember, honestly, I've always been in some form of church, whether it was, at my aunt's church back in the day, or, once my mom, got back into church and whatnot. I've been literally everything from, like, Catholic Light, which is Episcopalian, to, Assemblies of God, Baptist, um, non-denominational, and just everything in between. I've been all over the whole gamut. But the church that I spent the majority of my I guess religious formative years was a non-denominational church that had a very strong Pentecostal feel to it. Um, we did the whole shebang, speaking in tongues, laying on of hands, casting out demons, all that stuff. Whenever you think of that old school, praise Jesus, church and whatnot, that was my church. And I mean, it was a really good church. Like I'm not saying it's a bad church or anything. Not by far. It definitely in a lot of ways made me the person who I am today, as far as my steadfastness and self belief as opposed to self doubt, I guess. Obviously, like, I do deal with my own personal self doubt and whatnot, but when it comes to my abilities to do things and whatnot, if it's something that I know how to do it, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna let someone else make me feel like I can't do it. And that comes from what I learned in church, and believing that you know the world can't bring you down because what's in you is greater. Um, and it was a very inclusive church. The pastor is white, but I'd say 2/3 of the church was black. And we had the music to go along with it. It was very much a family, and I, it's what I needed growing up to help form me into someone that wasn't just like a people pleaser that would just bend over to like anyone's will because I wanted to make everyone happy and fit in. I I was able to develop that ideal in my head that even if I don't fit in, I can still you know do what I need to do and be my own person, and not be conformed and brought down into something else. And as usual with churches that are really rooted into spirits and demons and all that stuff and whatnot, um, it kind of developed a really strong, I don't want to say abhorrence because that seems really harsh, but when the idea was first presented to me that girls could even like get together, um, it like actually took work for my brain to like piece together like physically how it works, and like that, like, someone of the same gender could even, you know, have feelings and be in a relationship, you know, with another person of the same gender was just really hard for me to even compute. And that's, because I was so, heavily involved in the stuff with the church, and it had always been, man and woman, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, and anything else, for me at the time was just inherently wrong. Um, and so when it was then, presented to me as something that could be a thing and that could happen, I kind of, my brain just went, what? Well, okay, maybe for you, but not for me. And I did that, and I went along like that for a while. And then, I started talking to Tabby more and whatnot. We were introduced through a friend that I went to college with, she went to high school with, and she introduced us via the interwebs, good old instant messaging days. We talked and whatnot. We also wrote together on some different things that we all kind of shared back and forth, and just kind of, built this friendship. What I didn't know at the time was that she was actually developing, romantic feelings for me, but she also knew how involved I was with the church, and that, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't a thing that I did, or that I subscribed to, so she never touched it, and then fast forward to a year or so later, I went down to visit Tabby for my 20th birthday, and I had my first experience with a girl, Tabby. And then all of a sudden, it's like my brain, like this section of my brain was uncovered, and all of a sudden the light bulb went on, and it was like, oh, this is a thing. This is a thing that I can feel. This is a thing that I can experience. This is something that's like real. Oh my gosh, like I can have these feelings for someone, and they can be genuine, and they're not just, lustful thoughts of, fornication and all that stuff, like what, my Bible always told me and what my pastor always told me and whatnot. This is like legit actual feelings. Like, I care for this person. I am attracted to this person. I want to be with this person. I want to experience things with this person because I like this person, not just what this person can do to my body. um, at first, I just kind of, rode the, euphoria. Obviously, I told her, and I was like, hey, so I know it's kind of out of the blue and whatnot, but I can't stop thinking about it. This is how I feel. And she's like, well, actually, I've had these feelings for you for a while. And I was like, oh, okay. So what are we going to do about it? And we decided to try it out, long distance relationship, all that jazz. And it was really good for like 3 weeks to a month. And then, my religious beliefs came knocking on the door of my head, and everything just kind of went to hell in a handbasket, for lack of a better way to put it. Ultimately, it ended up in me breaking up with her 3 times over the course of about 4 or 5 months, maybe a little bit longer. And each time I'd break up with her and say, I can't do this, like, I love you, but I love God more, and if I love God, I can't love you, yada yada, all that stuff. One time, like, I did it, and like literally hours later, I was calling her, just crying, bawling, and saying, "I'm sorry, take me back. I'll do better. I'll try and make it work." It was an ordeal. It was bad. It was really bad. Ultimately, the only thing that made sense in my head to fully break contact, when I had that, I had kind of hit that point where I felt like I was, living 2 lives, where I was one way with her and my friends and whatnot, and then around everyone else who I associated with, at church, and my mom and whatnot, I was this completely different person that didn't do any of that. And whenever, they'd say, oh yeah, and, we have to reject that spirit of homosexuality, and I'd be, oh yeah, amen, and all that stuff. But then I'd, go home, and once my mom went to sleep, I'd call up Tabby and be like, hey babe, how you doing? I love you, missed you today. Yeah, I had a pretty good day, just played my trombone at church, and all that stuff. And it was tearing me up on the inside, to the point where like people could tell, they could see it on my face, like I just couldn't hide it anymore. And ultimately, I made what I think is looking back on it, probably the wrong choice, but it still led me into a direction that made me stronger over time. I just, most of what I regret about it is just the time that was lost. But I ended up writing a letter, and she'd given me a lighter the last time I went to go visit her, which was also a ordeal. Her and her friend came down to pick me up, and my mom legit almost called the cops on her. It was so bad, so bad. um, so she'd given me this lighter, right? And I don't smoke or anything, but she gave it to me because it was like our parting gift or whatever. And she said, "Hey, just in case you ever need one, here you go." And I wrote this letter saying, all this stuff and whatnot, breaking up with you, sorry, I love you, but I gotta do what's right for me, yada yada. I'll always love you, always care about you, you'll always be my sister in Christ. I don't want to say I hate that saying, but I kind of hate that saying because I've had that saying used against me when it came to people that I was into that weren't into me, and using that on someone else now I feel like is kind of a cheap shot, but I digress. Put the lighter in the envelope, mailed it off, and then immediately deleted her off of everything, social media, her phone number, everything, all instant messengers. I just completely like cut off all contact and just stopped talking to her. Uh, Found out years later from her that she got that through the lighter against the wall and broke it or some kind of something. It was bad. It was bad. And then I, of course, then had my own spiral of depression and sadness and couldn't listen to any music because everything reminded me of her. It was a bad deal. Around about the same time, I ran into an old band friend. We started talking. Of course, feelings developed, yada yada. Um, and so we on and off started doing things here and there. Didn't officially start dating until almost a year later. Um, During all of this time and whatnot, I have now changed jobs twice, working at a Walgreens, and meet another girl um, who I felt a connection to. It didn't dawn on me at the time that that connection was actually attraction because, again, at the time, I still didn't think that I was, anything other than straight. And I just thought that, maybe, it was like a kindred spirit thing, maybe. Turned out it was attraction. I thought she was cute, and that's what it was. So we started hanging out and stuff here and there. She was like gay, like lesbian, like not into dudes. Like dated one guy one time, and um, you know, just not for her. Just gay. She was a lesbian, and she went out to the local gay bar all the time with one of her friends. And she'd been saying for months and months now, oh yeah, I'm gonna take you to the gay bar. I'm gonna get you to come out with me, and you're gonna love it. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna have such a fun time. Oh my gosh, you're gonna get wasted, and it's gonna be great. And I was like, okay, okay, yeah, sure, maybe one day, but not today, haha, and all that stuff. Because especially with all of the other things that I now dealt with, I was kind of hitting that point where, like, yeah, I still had my belief in God. I still, loved God, all that stuff. But I was starting to kind of, see the flaws in my church, and then the flaws in, organized religion in general. And I was seeing, how my steadfast beliefs and ideals, while they weren't changing and they were still the same, uh, everything else was changing and wasn't the same. And it was starting to become a very stark contrast. Like I still believe that, everyone should be loved and treated the same. But then I noticed that some of my friends were like, well, I don't talk to this family anymore because they, decided to go to a different church. And at the time, I was like, well, what does that have to do with loving them? Like, why can't we still be friends and talk to them and be nice to them? It's like, well, because they don't support us anymore. They're not part of our family anymore. And I'm like, but we're all children of God, right? Aren't we supposed to love everyone? And she's like, well, I don't like hate them, but I'm not gonna, talk to them and stuff anymore because they betrayed our church. And I was like, but if we're all one church under God, how are they betraying us by going to another church? When did this become a club? And that's kind of when that divide and separation started happening, where I was like, well, Still going to go to church because spiritually it still gives me what I need. The praise and worship's still on. The word and whatnot is still good. I just don't like the whole clicky thing that's starting, so I will remove myself from that and just focus on God because that's what I go there for, right? Um, and because of that separation, I started dabbling in other things because, like I didn't have that strict, this is what I do with the church and I don't do anything else. But it's well, if they're not 100% right on this one thing, maybe I cannot be 100% right on this thing. And so I, drank here and there and stuff and, just tried stuff because I was like, whatever, I'm 21, who's going to stop me? Let's go ahead and do this thing. Um, so, um, long story short, we go to the gay bar. She finally gets me to go. Her friend, who we meet up there, is already plastered. He buys us what I find out later are Long Island's. I get probably the most drunk I've been like ever. Like I was really drunk. Um, we go back to her house to get something. I don't even remember what. We take him home because he starts bawling over his very overweight rabbit that had just recently died, and he feels like he killed her because he fed her mashed potatoes all the time. Um, and he's getting weepy. He's drunk. He's weepy. He needs to go home. So we go. We get in the car. I may or may not have puked at her door. We take him home. We're watching him go upstairs, make sure he gets in all right, because it's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning or later at this point. Um, and I turned to ask her, okay, what now? Or some kind of something. Is That's what sounds like was probably what I was thinking in my head. I turned to her and she's on me. Like, we're making out. We're doing it. It's happening. Like hands are in places and you know, yeah, it's happening. And don't ask me how we got home. I guarantee you it was not safely. But we made it back to her place. And I made it into her bedroom. And then I woke up the next morning hungover for the first time. Like, really bad. Like, oh man. Like, I'm surprised I didn't throw up. I was that hungover. But yeah. So, that happened. We're now in this, little thing that's happening between us now. We're flirting, we're going, we're doing the stuff, so, we're meeting up here and there. Well, there's this guy that I met, or that I ran back into, right? And we were kind of on our off season instead of on season, and hit me up again. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What you been up to? Yada yada. And just hanging out with some friends from work. Yada yada. All that stuff. And it's cool. You wanna, you know, hang out again? I'm free tonight. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we hang out, and then we do some things, and then um, I go to a coworker. We talk about it, and ultimately, what it comes down to is that, I now have these feelings for her. We're doing these things. I've had feelings for him. We've been doing things on and off. He doesn't want a relationship. I do. Um, and while I want this thing with him that I can't have, I don't know what I should do about it because, like, and I tried doing the whole saying it without saying it type thing, like yeah, I kind of have feelings for someone that's, that's a girl, but, I don't really have feelings for folks like that. It's usually just a personality thing, it's not because they're a girl. I'm not into girls, they just happen like their personality. And I had this thing, a few years back and whatnot, referencing Tabby, and like I'm trying to stay away from that, and I know that this is what God wants for me and whatnot. It's perfect. He's perfect for me. Yada yada. I don't get why he doesn't just do it. Like, he can do all these things with me, but like we can't ever be together. All that stuff and whatnot. But like now I don't know what to do because like he's there and he's available, but he doesn't want a relationship. But then this other person's like there and they might want a relationship, but I know it's not what I'm supposed to do. And she tried her best and whatnot as someone who's very, I think she's atheist or something like that. So a little bit harder for her to get where I was coming from as far as the God stuff, but the whole wanting to be with someone and them not wanting to be with you thing she totally related with. And she's like, well, if he's gonna be with you, he's gonna be with you, and not, then see ya. And which is not what I wanted to hear. And I was like, yeah, I guess, okay. So I got to thinking and stuff, and I was like, you know what, if he's not gonna do it, then I'm gonna do this with her and just whatever. and he can figure out what he's doing. But in the meantime, I have a good thing going with her. I'm going to do this thing. So I was doing the thing. And then 2 weeks in, a guy invites me to his grandma's birthday party. We go up, we have the birthday party, we're driving back, and he's like, hey, so I wanted to talk to you about something. And I was like, okay, what's up? And, he's like, so I know we've been kind of doing this back and forth thing for a while, and I said I wasn't really ready for a relationship, but, you know, I do care for you and have, I do like you, and I do think that we could be good for each other, so if you want to try this thing, then I'm willing to try it. And my brain kind of, like, what? I had to, like, hold up a minute because, like, one, guys don't say that to me ever. Like, I know I'm not the conventionally pretty girl, that everyone's like, oh my god, she's so hot. I win people over with my personality. Let's just be honest. Let's be fair. I'm not the hot chick. I won't go as far as to say that I'm the duff, but I'm definitely not the hot chick. If anything, I'm just like the comedic relief, chick. Like if my life was the movie Thor, I'd be Darcy, and someone else would be Jane, and Thor would be the guy that I'm always salivating over, but no, I'm never gonna have. So then I go for, um, I don't know, the intern. What was that guy's name? I'll figure out that guy's name. But anyways, yeah, don't they end up hooking up in the end of the second movie? They do. They do. Yes. Wow, segue. Okay. Anyways, so here's me over here, Darcy, me being like, oh god. And then it hits me. The thing that I've wanted for the past year and a half is now being offered to me, but I've been doing this with her over here, and this is actually going somewhere, and there's genuine feelings there, and I really like this, but I've wanted this for so long. So then I did the thing that you should never do. I did both. And I'm not proud of it at all. I never will be proud of it. If there's anything that I am 100% not proud of and disappointed in myself for, it was that. And that lasted for a few months. He figured it out. I came clean to him. I was truthful. It was a big hot mess. I was late to work, cried. Pretty much any time that I was not on the floor in front of customers, I was crying. It was bad. It was really bad. Then I continued to do things with the girl until that broke off. And then it was again really bad, super depressed, super sad. But out of all of that sad awfulness and bad stuff that happened, that I did, that happened to me, that everything, all of that awful stuff, the thing good that came out of it was that I, at some point in time during all of that, because I had this whole, God, I got with the person who you wanted me to get with, and it didn't work out, and now we're not together, but now I'm doing this thing with this girl, and everything feels great and perfect and right, and I don't understand, because if it was meant to be with this guy, then how come you didn't make it work? And now that I'm doing the thing that you say is not right, and it's working out really well, I don't understand, and I have these feelings, and they're not lustful feelings, and what's going on, and, give me an answer, because I'm confused and I don't get it. And finally one day, I think I was probably, laying in bed with her and whatnot, thinking about stuff, and I may or may not have started crying just because I had my own self-revelation type thing, and, she was, oh, what's wrong, all that stuff, and, I just kind of hugged her or whatever. I don't 100% remember. It's been a while ago, obviously. But, I hit that I just had, again, that light bulb, revelation moment of, I can, love someone, even if they're not what, religion tells me. Because I got to thinking, there's nothing in the Bible that says you can't love someone of the same gender. It just says that you can't lust after them. You can't have sexual relations with them. The same things that you can't do as a single person and whatnot, lusting after another person and not being, married to them, or like being married and then, adultery and all that stuff. It's all the same things, it's all centered around sex. That's what it's all around. But it never said anything about love. It didn't say that you can't love someone. Now, obviously what I did was wrong because I, loved someone and was with someone else and didn't leave that person to go and be this person I love. So that was wrong for sure. But the love itself was not wrong. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I love this person. I can see myself being with this person. I want to be with this person. It feels right. I don't feel wrong for the first time in a really long time in my life. Like, I'm okay with this. I will accept this. I will accept that I love this person, not just because of their personality or anything. Like, I'm genuinely attracted to and love this person, and I'm okay with that. And I kind of came out to myself, I guess, as being bisexual. The first person I told was it my dad? It was either my dad or one of my college friends. I made a list in my head of the person that would be the hardest to tell and the person that would be the easiest to tell. Easiest person was my friend Ariel. Um, told her, and she like was so excited that you would have thought that like she was the one coming out to me, and that I told her that yeah, I still love you, and she was and her reactions and stuff are hilarious. They're great. She's so she's so and then I wrote a letter to my dad, partly because he lives in Florida and I didn't feel like it was right telling him over the phone, and also because I was scared. And while I knew that my dad loves me and he's never not going to love me and he's always going to support me, I was still scared. Scared out of my mind. So I wrote to him and said, hey, so this is what's up, this is what happened, this is how I'm feeling. I understand if you don't, you know, believe in that stuff or whatever. And, I'm always going to love you and hopefully you'll still love me. I think I actually specifically said, hopefully you'll still see me as your little girl, because that's what he calls me, is, little girl. Um, Sent that to him, got a phone call, and yeah, he was 100% okay with it. And he said he doesn't care what I do as long as I'm happy and as long as whoever I'm with makes me happy, and that was awesome. And that made me happy. Pretty sure I cried again. And then I just kind of slowly made my way, up to things, telling people, yeah, so this is how I am. I came out to one of my online friends that was part of the tail end of that circle from, before. And he came out to me, and then we just kind of supported each other. He kind of carried me through a large part of that breakup with the second girl. So I kind of came to terms with things, and then I, started making baby steps here and there. I bought a belt with a rainbow flag belt buckle on it that I miss so much. Pretty sure it broke. It either broke or I lost it or I gained weight and couldn't wear it anymore. After that breakup was actually when I started losing weight. Because I pulled a muscle in my chest, and my doctor said the only reason why it even happened was because I was too fat. So yeah. um, but I got the belt, and then I got a bi pride bracelet and a rainbow bracelet. Just a regular pride bracelet. I may still have both. I'm not sure. We'll have to look and see. At first, I would only wear the bi pride bracelet because I knew that no one would really understand what that was. The people I was comfortable talking to about it, I could say, "Oh yeah, so this is the bi pride, bracelet. Pinks for girls, blues for boys, purples for both." And they, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and stuff, right? Like it didn't say anything on it; it was just the colors. So I had that, and then I got to where when I was somewhere where I knew I wasn't going to run into my church folks or my mom or anything, then I'd wear both bracelets. And then, so like I wasn't driving at the time, so like my mom would pick me up from school and whatnot with college, so I'd wear the rainbow bracelet while I was at school, and then when I knew it was time for her to pick me up, I'd take it off, stick it in my pocket, and then hide it when I got home. Really crazy stuff, but yeah. I got a Bi Pride hat, I got a Bi Pride shirt. I have both. One's got a weird, the shirt's got a weird stain on it, so I don't really wear it anymore. It's probably too small. The hat is just worn out to hell. Eventually, things kind of went on. I reconnected with Tabby again towards the end of that year. We tried doing things again, but she wasn't really in a good place mentally, and I was still trying to get over, my ex and that horrible breakup. those marshmallow eggs. um, so she broke it off with me this time, and that was good. It was needed. I actually thanked her for being stronger than me and being able to do it, because I wouldn't have done it. I was just afraid of losing something again, but she knew that I wasn't ready and that she wasn't ready. So, we broke it off, stayed friends, still flirted and stuff, but weren't like committed to each other or anything. I started dating another girl. Um, then we lost contact again. That girl was a fucking train wreck. Me and her were not ever meant to be together. That was bad. Moved to Florida, had some more crushes, reconnected with one of my friends in college. We started losing weight again together because around the time that I got with the third girl that was the train wreck, um, is when I started kind of gaining weight again. And then over the course of all of that, relationship, and then moving back down to Florida for a bit, I'd gained like all but like 10 pounds back. Reconnected with my friend from college who had moved down to be with her now girlfriend. We started losing weight again. I lost some more weight. Tried to hook up with some folks down there, but it didn't happen because, again, I'm the I'm Darcy, not Jane. um, and ended up reconnecting with Tabby again. We kind of fell out when I was with the girl because of reasons and stuff. Maybe that'll be another video. Um, and by the end of the summer, going into fall, we just decided to move in together, and the rest, as I say, is history. And I've been living with her for 6, 7 years now, something like that. Married for 4. Just had our anniversary a few months ago. And things are good. We've definitely had our ups. We've definitely had our downs. We're still learning each other. We're still learning life in general, but we're doing it together, and I'm loving it. I'm loving her. She's awesome. Hopefully, she still thinks I'm awesome. I ended up making a video for my mom on YouTube. Sent it to her. I probably still have it. I don't know if I want to make it. It's either unlisted or private right now on one of my old channels. She did not take it as well as my dad. She's better now. She wasn't for a long time, but she's better now. My stepmom also didn't take it well. When she found out, so when I was down there and stuff, she was trying to get me to go to church with her because she's super big into church and whatnot as well. And she, like, legit had me get up out of my room and go with her to some of her church friends' house and tried to have an intervention for me, like Bibles out on the table and everything, reading through stuff. And I just sitting there like, okay, thinking I could be like talking to Tabby right now on Skype. This is dumb. Oh my god. So of course, as soon as I get back home, I'm like, good night. And she's, good night. God bless you. And I'm like, okay. And as soon as that door closes, I call up Tabby. You won't believe what just happened to me. My friend Manda also didn't take it well because, of course, my mom freaked out and told everyone at church. Amanda's one of my church friends. She freaked out, called me, and then it's just, each year whenever some milestone happens, like, when I announced I was getting married to Tabby, that was a big thing. And the day of my wedding, I actually got several messages from folks from my church saying, oh, don't do this, you're making like a horrible decision, this is going to ruin your life, yada yada. And I embraced the little big thing that was me getting married to the love of my life, and said, no, today's my day. I'm going to ignore that. I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm going to go marry the woman I love. And that's what I did. And I couldn't have been happier. I love her with everything in me. And that's never going to change. I love her. And it's that love that helped me accept myself. Helped me realize that, like, I can love God. I can love my woman. I can have a happy life. I can have both. I still believe in God. I don't go to church anymore, mostly because it's hard to find a kind of church that, I'm used to going to, with all of the stuff that's also cool with gay people. But who knows, maybe one day it'll happen, and if not, I'll just keep listening to my gospel music and, read my Bible and stuff here and there. Probably should read it more, but what are you going to do? I don't read any books anymore, honestly. I need to read more. But yeah, so that's my really long, drawn-out, coming-out journey. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Go hug someone. Tell them that you love them, that life does get better. And enjoy, being you, being who you are. Don't ever feel bad for being who you are. Embrace who you are. Love who you are. Never let anyone tell you that you can't be who you are. And, enjoy life. Because, you never know when you're not going to wake up the next morning or when something's going to happen. It's going to snuff it out. So, enjoy life to the fullest. Be you to the fullest. And, happy day. Alright, go ahead and give my video a like if you found this inspirational. If you have any questions or comments about things, go ahead and put them down below. I know when it comes to religion and sexuality, it can very quickly turn into a very hot topic. So I'm very open to those questions. I'm willing to answer any questions, and if questions are big enough, I will make a video about it. So go ahead and leave those down in the comments. If you have any similar coming out stories, go ahead and tell me about them. I'm actually, curious to hear about it. Like, I like reading stuff like that. And yeah, um, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, and thank you for stopping by. And I'll see you guys later. Okay, stay classy.